Hi there, thanks for joining me on Tropical Weather Impact. It is June the 12th, Thursday here. I'm meteorologist Payton Malone. Things are still quiet in the Atlantic Basin for now, but maybe some signs that it might try to wake up next week. I've got much more on that coming up shortly, but the Pacific still remains the active basin with two additional storms trying to form. We've got a new invest that is maybe trying to form later today or tomorrow as it passes east here, or west rather. That could be our next D storm in the Pacific Basin, and then another lower chance of maybe some development here over the next week or so, all tied in with this broader scale of a system called the Central American gyre. Now, this is what we're going to watch next week on the Atlantic side, more specifically the extreme western Caribbean or maybe the extreme southwestern Gulf here. At the moment, there's not anything going on the Atlantic side of the basin, but this could be one of the ingredients that we watch throughout next week. So a reminder of what the Central American gyre is. It often sets up in the months of June and then again happens later in the season, oftentimes the month of October. And this can be the breeding ground for tropical systems, whether it be a tropical depression, tropical storm, or even hurricanes. Now, this is, as a whole itself, doesn't turn into a tropical system, but little parts of this are what can become tropical storms or hurricanes. So it's just a large circulation that sets up over Central America. It's a large plume of moisture with showers and storms embedded within it, and then occasionally you can get these systems. Now, recently, all of these little systems that have been forming have been coming from this and going into the Pacific, but next week, we do have some signs that maybe we get a little chance of development somewhere closer to the Caribbean or in the extreme southwestern Gulf here later next week, so by maybe the middle of next week. Again, this is far from written in stone, but it is kind of the first thing that we've seen over the past several weeks or so that shows there may be that low chance that something's trying to spin up here. This is next Monday. Notice a lot of moisture all across Central America. The thing that will decide if something actually does try to form is where the largest chunk of these showers and storms begin to form next week. Do they form more over the water, or do they stay suppressed down towards Central America or even on the Pacific side? So in order for something to actually try to form down here off the Caribbean or in the southwestern Gulf, you actually got to get the storms into or over the water itself. We have several models now showing or recognizing this possibility, but we still don't have a ton of support for this to happen. Now, that could change, but again, it really depends on, does it actually get over the warm waters, or does it stay more over the land or even on the Pacific side? This is a good example of that. Next Wednesday, this is the European model you're looking at here. It's a bit more aggressive with the large plume of moisture staying more landlocked here over the land with just a little bit extending into the southwest Gulf. Now, it is possible, even if you get enough moisture here, down here, the geography can help things spin up a little bit faster and easier right here off the coast of Mexico. So that would be our real chance, I would say, of maybe something trying to spin up in the southwest Gulf. But again, this is a week away and models are still trying to sniff out and where they want to place all of this as we go throughout next week. The northern Gulf here looks like our pattern next week is going to still be this big heat ridge or this ridge of high pressure or extension of the Bermuda High extending over us. So what that means is that anything that is down here is going to be hugging Central America or maybe getting into the Western Caribbean or the extreme southern southwestern Gulf. So anything that does try to form, the path is going to be more like this. So if you are watching this in South Texas or eastern parts of Mexico down through Central America, there's a good chance you get some moisture from this regardless of development, but these are the spots that probably keeping a closer eye on this. Again, on the northern Gulf and on the eastern Gulf especially, I think the ridge is going to be dominating us here, and while we'll have some pop-up storms each day, it probably keeps the deepest tropical moisture compressed or suppressed down towards this direction. So as it stands right now, yes, the Atlantic may wake up some next week in the Atlantic Basin, talking about the southwestern Gulf and western Caribbean, but it is far from written in stone. Just kind of recognizing the pattern right now that often does support some spin-up systems this time of year. Very common that we are watching the extreme southwestern Gulf this time of year for the exact same setup. That large area of circulation of moisture, parts of it try to form as they get over these warmer waters here. And so nothing out of the norm here as we get ready to head into what is now the third week of our 2025 hurricane season. And so far things have been really nice and quiet. So for now, as it stands, things are probably going to be quiet for another at least 5 to maybe 7 days, but it wouldn't be shocking if National Hurricane Center starts to watch some specific areas down here as we head into next week. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on this Tropical Weather Impact. We will do it right here again tomorrow. We'll see you then.